Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are delighted to welcome you to the second Jakarta International Conference on Multidisciplinary Studies Towards Creative Industries, Jicoms in Jakarta, Indonesia. I am Zainab.
And I am Dimas Bayu Pinandoyo. We will be hosting you for today. It's an honor for us to greet and welcome our guests and excellencies. Mr. Purwasusilo MPD, the Interim Chief of Education Department of DKI Jakarta Province, Dr. IPL in Mulyadi Sinung Harjono, MT, the Director of Utilization of Research and Innovation in Industry, or BRIN, Dr. Tipriros Kartika MM, the Director of State of Polytechnic of Media Creative.
The honorable invited speakers, Professor Dr. Brian Salisbury, MD from the University of Utah, United States of America. Dr. Dina Mehmet Govik Smith from University College London, United Kingdom. Professor Dr. Ing S.G. Swaff Polkowski from WSG, University of Poland. Professor Thomas Kohler from TUD Technische Universiteit Dresden.
We would like to welcome all the guests, presenters, and participants at the Jakarta International Conference on Multidisciplinary Studies Toward Creative Industries 2023. Jicoms 2023, held by the Center of Research and Community Service of State Polytechnic of Creative Media, Polymedia, with the theme of Developing Sustainable Research to Strengthen Creative Industries.
Polymedia is a vocational higher education that is located in 3 cities in Indonesia, Jakarta, Makassar, and Medan, and has a scientific emphasis on the creative industry and entrepreneurship. To inform you, GCOMS 2023 is conducted using a hybrid method. The Zoom platform is used by online participants and presenters to present, and it can be streamed on Polymedia YouTube TV.
This event will last for around 8 hours and divided into 2 sessions. The first session is the opening ceremony, a presentation by the keynote speakers and invited speakers. And in the second session, after the break, there will be panels for oral presentations.
At the end of the event, awards will be given to the most outstanding speakers in each panel room. The division of participants in every room can be checked in the book of abstract that has been given. To proceed with the first agenda of this event, we kindly ask you to stand up and sing with us Indonesian anthem, Indonesia Raya. Audience, please stand up. audience, you may be seated.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at the Polymedia video profile.
Creative economy is one of the supporting factors for economic growth in Indonesia. In line with current technological developments, it opens up great opportunities to work creatively. Polytechnic Negeri Media Kreatif is present to meet this need. Located in the capital city of DKI Jakarta, Polymedia has produced graduates based on production and entrepreneurship. Since its establishment in 2008, now there are thousands of graduates spread across the creative economy sectors. In carrying out the duties to produce a superior generation, Polymedia applies cultural values: competent, responsive, ethic, accountable, trusted, innovative, futuristic. Polymedia currently has 15 study programs, associate's degree, and Bachelor of Applied Science level. The study program with Bachelor of Applied Science level are fashion design, multimedia engineering technology, game technology, animation, hospitality management, film and television production. The study program at Polymedia with associate's degree are graphic engineering, packaging engineering, machine maintenance engineering, graphic design, advertising, broadcasting, publishing, photography, and culinary arts. In addition to the study program at the main campus in Jakarta, Polymedia has an off-campus study programs or PSDKU in Medan and Makassar. In promoting Merdeka Belajar Kampus Merdeka, Polymedia has collaborated with various sectors. With the spirit of developing resources in creative industries, as well as supporting the development of the creative economy, Polymedia continues to improve itself so that it becomes a vocational higher education institution that is leading and superior in the creative industry in 2030 in Southeast Asia.
Momentum perubahan menuju Polymedia bangga semakin kreatif.
Oke. Mau pakai ini dulu?
Please give applause to Polytechnic Negeri Media Kreatif.
Let's move on with the Dance of Wonderland Indonesia. Is an Indonesian traditional dance. It tells a story about Indonesia as a magical country with abundant beauty and rich in traditional songs, dance, musical instruments, and clothing to traditional houses from many provinces in Indonesia. Despite its cultural diversity, Indonesia is still one based on the motto of Bhinneka Tunggal Ika.
Indonesia is the most beautiful land in the universe. The land where we were born, the nation where we grew up. So many colors that link together Indians. With a million timeless treasures, with an abundance of natural wealth, Indonesia is not just wonderful. Indonesia is a wonderland.
Let's give applause for the amazing performance. It's remind us whatever the difference we have, we still have to unite as one for the development.
It's your turn. Your turn.
Now, let's listen to our welcoming speeches. First, please welcome Mr. Mawanugraha PhD as the head of the Committee of Jicoms 2023.
Okay, thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Mawan Nugraha, Chief of this team. I would like to say Alhamdulillah, means thank Allah, God of the universe. Today is a great day for us because we have a conference with the name of conference is Jakarta International Conference 2023 on multidisciplinary studies toward creative industry. And the special topic this year is developing sustainable research to strengthen a creative industry. And oh yeah, I already said Alhamdulillah, thank God, because one reason, because we conduct this conference without any problem significantly. Therefore, I would like to thank to Ibu Dr. T. Prirus Kartika. Because of her support, we can conduct this conference. And also, we have keynote speakers, two keynote speakers. The first is Honorable Bam Engineering, Mulyadi Sinung Harjono, right? Welcome to our conference. Thank you very much for your support. And also, still on the way, Bapak Purwo Susilo MPD. He is head of Education Department, Jakarta Capital City of Indonesia. Very nice. I have you here. And also, Dr. Dina. Welcome, Dr. Dina. I think this is a great day because we can meet here. And oh yeah, both two of these invited speaker actually has been here since Sunday, right? Okay. I hope you can enjoy Jakarta. And also we have two invited speaker, but he will attend online. They are Professor Thomas Kohler from Germany. I hope they can sing us here. And also Professor Dr. Engineering Polkowski, WSG University Polandia. Professor Thomas Kohler from Technische Universiteit Dresden for Institute for Further Continuing Education. And as chief of this conference, I would like to report to you that in this conference we have 102 abstracts submitted, but we just accept 80 abstract or presenter, and they are coming from several countries such as Malaysia, Vietnam, Taiwan, Thailand, Japan, Hungary, United Kingdom, Norwegia, and Australia. Besides from abroad, we also presenter from our neighbor institution, such as from Polytechnic Astra, University of Putra Indonesia Padang, Udinus Semarang, Polytechnic of Health Science from Health Ministry, University of Hasanuddin, Polytechnic Negeri Malang, from East Java, and then from Akom Bantaeng, Trans, Palembang, and of course from Polymedia. Last speaking from me, once again, thank you very much joining, attending, supporting this conference, and please enjoy it. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Next, we would kindly invite Dr. Handika Dani Ramayanti, MSE, as the Head of Research and Community Development Center in Polymedia.
Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The Honorable Director of Polytechnic Negeri Media Kreatif, Dr. Tipri Ros Kartika MM. The Honorable Director of Utilization of Research and Innovation of Industry, National Research and Innovation Agency, Dr. Mulyadi Sinung Haryono. And the Honorable Representative from USAID, and all honorable speakers, Prof. Brian Salisbury from University of Utah, Dr. Dina Mehmet Begovic Smith from University College London, welcome to Indonesia, and Professor Dr. Eng Polkowski from WSG University, Polandia, Professor Thomas Kohler from TU Dresden Institute for Further and Continuing Education, and the Honorable all distinguished guests, presenter, participant, and all committee Jicoms 2023 who coming today. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Research Center and Community Service Polytechnic Negeri Media Kreatif, I extend very warm welcome and thanks to all of you. We are proud and grateful for holding the Jakarta International Conference on Multidisciplinary Studies Towards Creative Industry 2023 for 2 consecutive years. We would like to thank all academics, practitioners, scientists, and scholars from various disciplines who have participated in Jicoms 2023. Alhamdulillah, Jicoms participant 2023 increased very rapidly from last year. This cannot be separated from your support. This conference aims to provide an opportunity for all participants from various disciplines to discuss avenues for innovation and identify effective ways to address the regional and global challenges. The research ideas and studies we receive at this conference were very promising, unique, and impactful. Last but not least, we hope you enjoy in this conference. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Dr. Handika. And now we would like to invite to the podium to deliver a welcoming speech from our director, the Director of State Polytechnic of Media Kreatif, Dr. Tipri Ros Kartika MM.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The Honorable Mr. Purwosusilo, Interim Chief of Education Department Jakarta, who is this event represent the Governor of Jakarta, still waiting for him. Yeah. The Honorable Mr. Dr. Mulyadi Sinung Harjono, Director of Industrial Research and Innovation Utilization from BRIN. The Honorable Professor Dr. Brian from the University of Utah, USA. The Honorable Dr. Dina Smith from the University of London College. Please welcome. The Honorable Prof. Thomas Kohler from TU Dresden, Germany. The Honorable Professor Dr. Polkowski from University WSG Poland. The Honorable Deputy Directors and Head of Department at Polymedia, and the Honorable all participants and presenter in this event, Jicoms 2023. First of all, let us give the thanks to God. We can all be here in good health and happiness. Sure. Welcome to Jicoms 2023. This event was organized by Polymedia Research and Community Service Center. For this reason, I would like to thank you for and give my appreciation to the Polymedia Research and Community Service Center. Give applause, please. And the entire Jicoms committee, chairman by Mr. Mawanugraha. Please applause lagi. Okay. And thank you also to keynote speaker, Mr. Purwosusilo and Mr. Dr. Mulyadi Sinung, invited speaker who are willing attended the event, Dr. Brian and Mrs. Dr. Dina Smith, who are here with us. And Professor Thomas Kohler and Professor Dr. Purwosusilo with is present online. And also thanks to the 80 presenters. I hear the head of the Jicoms, this event following 80 presenter in this event, both from Indonesia and from outside Indonesia. The second Jicoms this time takes the theme developing sustainable research to strengthen creative industry. I think Jicoms is an activity that will be regularly every year to provide a place academica, professional, researcher, practitioner, student, and civil society organization to share idea and current studies in field science and social science. I hope this conference can be useful for all of us, building synergy and collaboration, especially in research. I wish you get a wonderful and unforgettable experience in this conference. Then thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Ladies and gentlemen, in the opening of ceremonial Jicoms 2023, we would like to invite to the stage the Director of State Polytechnic of Media Creative, the Interim Chief of Education Department of DKI Jakarta Province, Vice Directors of Polymedia, the Head of Committee Jicoms 2023, and the Head of Research Community Development Center. Please, for the mentioned name to come forward to the stage. How come they don't understand this? As directors itu Pak Dir 1 mana ini? Lagi nih, kan tadi udah. Belum kok. Kayaknya nggak usah disebut karena udah langsung aja Mas Dimas.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's move on the next agenda. For the first session, we would like to invite Dr. Zalzulifa MPD as moderator. Please welcome our keynote speaker, Purwo Susilo MPD, the interim chief of the Education Department in the province of DKI Jakarta, and Dr. IPL Ing Mulyadi Sinung Harjono MT, the director of Utilization of Research and Innovation in the Industry. Please welcome to the stage.
Okay. Siap. Yeah. Okay, all right. Good morning, everybody. Let me tell you first, I've heard from Sumatra. Palembang, right. All right. Thank you very much for this morning. This is our conference, Jicoms, the second Jakarta International on Multidisciplinary Studies toward Creative Industries, developing sustainable research to strengthen creative industries. And then welcome the first invited speaker from Germany, United Kingdom, also from all the participants here. Thank you very much. And especially those who are sitting with me in the front of this stage. I call Mr. Purwo Susilo, MPD, Head of Education, Department Jakarta, Capital City. Welcome. And also the second speaker, Dr. Ing Mulyadi Sinung Harjono, Directors of Utilizations of Research and Innovation in Industry, BRIN. Thank you very much for your coming. And here, in this keynote speaker, Mr. Purwo Susilo will explain about the policy of education in Jakarta, especially because our campus is located in South Jakarta, right, Mr. Purwo Susilo? And excuse for him because he will explain to you in Indonesia. Ini Pak Purwo Susilo akan bicara tentang Jakarta dengan bahasa Indonesia, jadi mohon kita maklumi untuk nanti kita coba terjemahkan pelan-pelan kepada saudara kita yang lain. And of course, Ing Mulyadi Sinung Harjono, as a director of its utilizations of research and innovation in industry, will explain about the possibility of linkage collaboration between State Polytechnic of Creative Jakarta and also with other countries like Germany, United Kingdoms, and also from other invited speakers. Maybe for the first speaker, I will let the time to Mr. Purwo Susilo first. The time is yours. Thank you very much.
Mohon izin saya menyampaikan sedikit materi menggunakan bahasa Indonesia ya. Kalau menggunakan bahasa Inggris, saya khawatir malah nggak bisa ditangkap gitu. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bapak Ibu yang saya hormati, khususnya Pak Moderator, Bapak Ibu semua, mohon izin saya atas nama pemerintah Provinsi DKI Jakarta ucapkan terima kasih sudah diajak bersama untuk diskusi terkait dengan kegiatan pada hari ini. Saya mengucapkan selamat dan menantikan suksesnya di Jakarta International Conference on Multidisciplinary Studies toward Creative Industry. Bapak Ibu, faktanya saat ini kita sedang memikirkan, sama-sama memikirkan bagaimana dampak perubahan cara hidup saat ini. Digitalisasi, disrupsi teknologi dan kemajuan ilmu pengetahuan serta teknologi menjadi tantangan yang harus kita selesaikan sama-sama, tentunya melalui inovasi dan strategi pentahelik di kalangan pemangku kepentingan. Saya berharap dari konferensi ini dapat memberikan kesempatan bagi semua akademisi, peneliti, mahasiswa, dan industri dalam kerangka kerjasama untuk mengatasi ekosistem yang kondusif untuk pertumbuhan dan keberlanjutan.
Okay, let me translate the speech. The honorable speakers, esteemed delegates, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, let me start these remarks with expressions of gratitude. On behalf of DKI Jakarta government, I proudly congratulate and looking forward for the success of the second Jakarta International Conference on Multidisciplinary Studies towards Creative Industries. In fact, that we are today concerned on how to give impacts to the shift of way of living, digitalization, technological disruption, and the advancement of science and technology are challenges to resolve with innovation and pentahelix strategies among stakeholders.
TVET, Technical and Vocational Education and Training, yang mana punya makna pendidikan dan pelatihan teknis dan kejuruan, ini mungkin merupakan bidang yang paling relevan untuk dikembangkan dan diperkuat saat ini, khususnya di DKI Jakarta dan umumnya untuk semua.
This conference hopefully be able to provide opportunities for academics, researchers, students, and industries in the frame mutual cooperation to address conducive ecosystem to growth and sustain. TVET, technical and vocational education and training, perhaps be the most relevant area to develop and reinforce.
Bersama-sama kita akan mengeksplorasi bagaimana kemitraan pemerintah swasta dapat bersinergi untuk membentuk kebijakan yang efektif, bagaimana keterampilan digital dapat ditanamkan dengan efisien dan inklusivitas, dan bagaimana TIPED dapat menerapkan prinsip-prinsip keberlanjutan dan ramah lingkungan untuk berkontribusi terhadap masa depan yang lebih hijau dan berkelanjutan.
Together, we shall explore how public-private partnerships can synergize to shape effective policies, how digital skills can be imparted with efficiency that can embrace sustainable principles to contribute to a greener, more sustainable future.
Indonesia kini telah melakukan kemajuan dalam regulasi TIPED melalui keputusan Presiden nomor 68 tahun 2022 untuk mempercepat revitalisasi serta link and match antara sekolah kejuruan SMK dengan industri kebijakan dan program untuk meningkatkan kualitas pembelajaran serta relevansinya dengan kompetensi peserta didik.
Indonesia has now take advancement to it TVET regulation with Presidential Decree number 68 of 2022 to accelerate revitalization as well as link and match between vocational school with industries and companies. The Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology of the Republic of Indonesia have also intensified policies and programs to increase quality of learning as well as its relevancy to the student competencies.
Pendidikan vokasi diharapkan dapat bersinergi secara holistik dengan industri dan perusahaan, dunia usaha, dunia kerja dalam hal menyediakan tenaga kerja yang prospektif dan profesional sesuai dengan kebutuhannya. Sekolah menengah juruan fokus pada pengembangan keahlian siswa di beberapa sektor. Yang pertama teknologi dan teknik, yang kedua teknologi informasi dan komunikasi, yang ketiga di bidang kesehatan, yang keempat di bidang seni, kerajinan dan pariwisata, dan yang kelima teknologi agribisnis, serta yang keenam bisnis dan manajemen.
Vocational education are expected to holistically synergize with industries and companies in terms providing prospective and professional workers which in line with its demand. Vocational secondary schools focus on developing students' expertise several sectors, technology and engineering, information and communication technology, health, arts, craft and tourism, agrobusiness technology, and business and management.
Kurikulum kami juga telah diatur oleh SMK untuk menyesuaikan dan merumuskan pembelajaran yang meningkatkan keterampilan dan kompetensi melalui kolaborasi dan penyelarasan kurikulum dengan IDUKA, industri dan perusahaan. Tujuan utamanya adalah untuk akhirnya melahirkan alumni atau tamatan yang berkualitas.
Our curricula have also been regulated schools to adjust and formulate lessons that boosting skills and competencies through collaboration and curriculum alignment with industries and companies. The main objective is to finally deliver qualified alumni.
Provinsi DKI Jakarta melalui Dinas Pendidikan melaksanakan kebijakan nasional dalam meningkatkan mutu dan daya saing sekolah kejuruan, antara lain dengan mempercepat kerjasama industri dengan strategi 8+I Link and Match yang melibatkan dunia kerja pada seluruh aspek penyelenggaraan kejuruan pendidikan. Strategi ini sangat penting sebagai bentuk sinergi antara dunia pendidikan dengan korporasi.
DKI Jakarta Province, through the Educational Department, implement the national policy in improving the quality and competitiveness of vocational schools, including by accelerating industrial cooperation by 8+I link and match strategy involving the world of work in all aspects of the provision of vocational education. This strategy is crucial as a form of synergy between the world of education and cooperation.
Sekolah kejuruan juga mendidik lulusannya menjadi wirausaha industri kreatif yang terus berinovasi dan mengembangkan produk berbasis kearifan lokal. SMK mempunyai beberapa kompetensi yang mendukung terbentuknya wirausaha industri kreatif yang berkualitas. Antara lain, pertama bidang seni budaya, yaitu sebagai desain komunikasi visual, animasi, tari tradisional dan karawitan. Yang berikutnya kerajinan tangan. Ini pekerjaan kayu dan pekerjaan logam yang dalam kesehariannya dinamakan kriya kayu dan kriya logam.
Vocational schools also addressing graduates to become creative industry entrepreneurs who continue to innovate and develop product based on local wisdom. Vocational school has several competencies that support the establishment of quality creative industry entrepreneurs, and those are 1. Art and culture fields as visual communication design, animation, traditional dance, karawitan, and number 2, craft or woodwork and metalwork.
Dalam rangka mendukung peningkatan kompetensi, diadakan juga kompetisi tahunan seperti LKS, Lomba Kompetensi Siswa, dan juga Fiksi, Festival Inovasi dan Kewirausahaan.
Regarding to support increasing student competency, annual competitions are also adhered as student competition and Festival of Innovation and Entrepreneur.
Hadirin yang saya hormati, mencocokkan standar sertifikasi menuju pengakuan timbal balik terhadap lulusan TIPET serta sertifikasi industri dan standar pekerjaan juga merupakan kunci untuk meningkatkan kualitas lembaga atau sekolah terkait dengan TIPET.
Ladies and gentlemen, matching standards and certification towards mutual recognition of TVET graduates as well as industry certifications and occupational standards are also a key to improving the quality of TVET institutions or schools.
Hadirin yang saya hormati, sekali lagi saya sangat mengapresiasi dan akhirnya berharap konferensi ini mampu memberikan dampak bagi kita semua untuk lebih membina dan memberdayakan masyarakat, khususnya melalui peningkatan kualitas dan relevansi pendidikan vokasi serta mendukung industri kreatif.
Ladies and gentlemen, I once again really appreciate and finally hope that this conference is able to impact all of us to greatly foster and empower society, specifically through the improvement of quality and relevancy of vocational education and support creative industries.
Demikian bisa saya sampaikan, terima kasih. Salam dari pimpinan Pemprov DKI Jakarta untuk kita semua, salam hormat dan salam sehat. Makasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you and best regards from our leader. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. As translated and interpret the speaker from Purwosusilo. Mr. Brian, keep your question answer first. we go through the second speaker. Maybe after that we can go have a question and answer, right? And also Ms. Dina. Okay, the second speaker, let's call Mr. Mulyadi Sinung.
Thank you very much for this opportunity to I have my presentation here. I think I already sent to the secretariat. Okay, so it's important for me. Thank you very much, Papa as MC here, and Dr. Dina as the Director of Polytechnic Media Creative. Honorable speakers, here is Prof. Brian, Dr. Dina, and also other speakers in online. Thank you very much. First of all, I will thank you for this event. This is Jakarta Information Conference 2000 with multidisciplinary studies toward the creative industry. When the topic is developing sustainable research to strengthen creative industry. This is important for us because we are in BRIN is the only one research center in Indonesia who will support you all to in creative industry also. So here in Indonesia we have three researchers. First is from universities, the other is from industry, and the third one is from also from BRIN, what we have here. So let me introduce first what is BRIN, National Research and Innovation Agency, and what is the program who can help you in developing sustainable research and strengthen the creative industries in Indonesia. Please, the next slides, please. So here's our organization, as you see here. This is difficult for me to show you. Our organization chairman is under President of Republic Indonesia directly, and here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 management of the research who manage all the research in BRIN. And in the left and the right side we have the research of organization who is responsible for the technical of the research in BRIN. This 12 of the research organizations show what is the focus of our research in Indonesia, what is important, and it can be deepened and it can be discussed later in our discussion. Okay, in the next slide, please. Here is how we can solve our problem to solve the industry. In the left side, the policy side, it is 3 deputy is important from here. We have here the deputy of development policies. This is deputy who is discuss about the themes of our research with the government. Here in Indonesia we call it the Bapenas. The second one is the deputy of regional research and innovation. Here we call it in Indonesia BRIDA. We have here in every province, in every cities, pemerintah daerah here called in Indonesia, we have BRIDA. With the help of these 2 deputies, we have collect the information what we need to research in Indonesia, and we need to make some policy, what is the research in innovation need to us to be developed. This is from the Deputy of Research and Innovation Policy, and all the policy here will be followed by our executing agency. The executing agency is here in our organization research. Here we see some research organization for aeronautic and space, for example, and the others. Here we see social scientists, and also research organization for electronics and information. Maybe it is closest to you here. We have also here research organization for archaeology, language, and literature too. That is also related to your creative industry, because you can have all the archaeology things what we can discuss later. In the right side, we have the funding agency of our National Research Agency. This is consists of a deputy from science and technology, human resource. Here we have some programs for the science, human resource development for our researchers. The second one is the Deputy for Research and Innovation for Infrastructure. We have here all the infrastructure of research in Brin, and it is spread all over Indonesia. I think this is all the research agency from the ministerial is collected in this deputy. And the right side is in the deputy for research innovation facilitation. We have here the funding, what we can support you to make the research. All of the deputy will be collected, will be spread by deputy of research and innovation utilization. So all of the intellectual property what we have during our research will be covered and will be delivered to the industry through the deputy of research and innovation utilization. So this is the how we can manage our research in Indonesia right now. Okay, in the next slide, please. So it is a little bit complex here, but what I want to show you is the yellow one. Here is all the supporting or incentive what we can have. If you want to connect to the industry, what we can help you, what we can help the researcher to develop our the research. The research from the researcher to industry. For example, we have here a grassroots researcher. We call it the grassroots innovation. If someone or some communal people have some innovation, any kind of innovation, also of creative innovation, we can help you to have intellectual property, for example, or we can help you to make some coaching clinic, how we can have some intellectual property, some studies and etc. in this supporting teams. We call it VR, funding for industri akar rumput, grassroots industry. So we called it there. So the other is about the industry. Here we have here a technology transfer. How we can help the researcher to transfer the technology that they have to the industry. Some kind of funding, some kind of how we can help you to make some seminars maybe, or maybe some collective information what the industry can use it later. Under industry we divided into two kinds. It is the micro, small and medium enterprises. It is also for creative industry, and the others is the big industry what we have here. In this stage, maybe you can use it some program named Technology Product Innovation Test for what we call is PPIT. So you can use it to manage your work from the intellectual property to the industry later. All of these schemes, you can have it through the website. Maybe in the next slide, please. Here you can have the program, and you can follow what you can do through the website. It is covered by the Polymedia. There is the HTTPS pendanaan /risnov.brin.id. You can search there any kind of support what you can have to do your research and all your intellectual property to be delivered to the industry. You can have it through these websites. You can fill it and you can follow the procedure there. Maybe the next slide, please. Here we have also the National Talent Program. It is not only the researcher. Also, we want to have the researcher to be upgrade their intellectual. Also, the talent program. We have here three types of research. The first is the talent mobility. This is too small for me. It is a scheme that any research assistant from the university can work with us together in our campus. because we are not exactly a campus that you can give you a delivered some degree. We have just campus for the research only. So the research assistant can go with us, and together with us we make some products to be delivered to the industry. The second was the capacity building and competency. We can have a degree by research. We have some schemes also with LPDP. Maybe Bapak Purwo know about LPDP also. Others, if we have also professional certification program to help you to certificate your specialties in all of your capabilities what you have here. We have also some young talent engagement, some program, national talent appreciation from HBP Prize, Sarono Prize, and so that, and it is given every year to you all to make you proud of your works, and we can help you to further more in your programs. Next slide, please. See here I want to show you what is we can help you in research in innovation ecosystem, but just in the national talent program. For example, here in the PSG program, we can help you to go to the master program. Also, you can go from master to the doctor program. It is using the program we call it the degree by research. So we can have just the research degree by research in our campus with help of the polytechnic. Maybe you can have the master program, also the doctor program in our campus. In other, we have also postdoctoral system for the mobility program to create something in your research area. You can have in our campus with coordination with the Deputy of Human Resource and Innovation. Next slide, please. So here is, for example, some numbers, but I can see in the numbers here not so clear. I'm sorry. We have some discussion with programs with university, postdoctoral also. We have the student final research project program also. So we can have many things in here in our program. It is you can search the program in management talent at print.go.id. This is already all there. Next slide, please. Now, after we talk about how we can help you to research, here is our program to help you to manage our business, also to manage the industry. Here we help you a program with the business market analysis. This is some program we can help you during our conference or our meeting to collect some using a business matching with the creative industry together, and then business model development, project management, and marketing programs. Next, please.
It's almost finished. The time is up.
Okay. Just one more. We want to just show you some example. This is the asset store. We have already make a joint collaboration with some universities. It is our asset store, for example. The next, please. We show you here in 2D, in 3D isometric and 3D asset store, what we have already discussed with research together with students. Next, please. Here we want to see that the biodiversity, animal diversity, and cultural sciences also show in our programs, and then we collaborate with our industry. I think this is all. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks very much, Mr. Mulyadi, Mr. Purwo. I was just reminded by the committee that there will be no question and answer. Maybe the committee will sum up the possibility of potential collaboration, yeah, between DKI and BRINS, and of course our lecture will design some kinds of collaboration someday. Okay, maybe that's all from me as a moderator. Thank you very much for the attention. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, for
the keynote speakers.
For the keynote speaker, kindly say at the stage, we will do appreciation handling and will be delivered by the Vice Director, Ibu Suratni and Bapak Yunus. Kindly deliver the appreciation.
Kameranya nggak ada.
Nanti habis dua-duanya aja, nanti kalau udah turun lagi.
Lihat circumstance kalau misalkan garing.
For the keynote speakers gitu ya.
Let's give applause for the keynote speakers.
Itu prodimu ya.
Udah kelar katanya. Oke, udah ya semuanya. Jadi nggak usah di applause ya. Ladies and gentlemen, for the second session, we would like to invite Miss Liza Amalia Putri, MA, and please welcome our invited speakers, Professor Dr. Brian Salisbury, MD, from the University of Utah, United States of America, and Dr. Dina Mehmet Begovic Smith from the University College London, United Kingdom. Please welcome to the stage.
Okay, thank you. Professor Salisbury and Dr. Dina, please have a seat. Thank you. Okay. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the invited speaker talk session. My name is Liza Putri. I am the lecturer and also staff of international office at Polytechnic Negeri Media Kreatif, and it's an honor for me today to be the moderator of this session. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great opportunity for me to share the stage with 4 wonderful speakers from 4 different countries. So now I'd like to welcome Professor Brian Salisbury from the United States. Welcome, sir. And Dr. Yes, please give applause. And Dr. Dina Mehmet Dejavik Smith from England. Welcome, ma'am. And also, I'd like to greet also the other 2 speakers who are joining us online today. They are Professor Thomas Kohler from Germany and Professor Polkowski from Poland. They will be joining us online. So thank you very much for joining us today here in Jakarta. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, before we begin the session, there are some information that I have to share. That is, for this session, each speaker will have a total of 30 minutes for the presentation, including the QA session. And after each presentation, there will be time for 2 or 3 questions. Okay, now let's welcome our first speaker, Professor Brian Salisbury. Before he conduct the talk, I'd like to introduce him briefly. Sorry. Okay, I remember that. So Professor Salisbury is a lecturer of entertainment arts and engineering at University of Utah in the United States, and you can see in his excellent CV that he has tremendous industrial experiences, and one of them is with Microsoft Studio Games. And he also involved in a lot of top movies and AAA video games, namely like Ants movie, Godzilla movie, MP3 game for Xbox. That's wonderful. And many more, right? Okay, so Professor Salisbury, the time and floor is yours.
Okay, thank you so much. Really enjoying my time in Jakarta. Everybody's so nice.
Thank you.
I was out jogging the other day and I tried an experiment. I'm going to smile at everybody who comes by, and almost everybody smiled. It was really nice, really warm, a lot of warmth here, not just in the heat, but in the people. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
All righty. Okay, well, greetings. Jakarta International Conference on Multidisciplinary Studies towards Creative Industries. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. All right. A few people have been calling me doctor today. I'm not a doctor. But I have a Master of Fine Arts degree from the University of Central Florida. I'm a professor, and we are now known as the Division of Games at the University of Utah. That just happened this summer. So that means that we're going to be hiring tenured faculty. We're going to be hiring a lot of research faculty, and we are going to have a doctorate program, so we're on the move, and that's really exciting. Next slide, please. Okay, so now that we are Division of Games, so you can also call it DOG for short, you'll see reference, like in this logo here, to EAE, so we were formerly known as Entertainment Arts and Engineering. Now we're the division of games. So there will be reference to both, so just hope it's not confusing. Next slide, please. That's my email, and that's the email or the URL for our program. If you want to take a peek at that, I'll have it, I think, on the last slide too. Next slide, please. Okay, so before I came to University of Utah, I was an art track director at the University of Central Florida, also known as FIA, for 10 years. Prior to that, I did get to work in a few game studios. Was also a 3D modeler, and in that capacity had the chance to work on a lot of really cool projects. And next slide, please. So these are some of the titles that I've worked on, both movies and games. Surprisingly enough, I don't know if you can see there's a Lynx golfing game. When I went to Microsoft, I vowed that if they ever made me make a golfing game, that I would leave. But it turns out that they did, and it wound up being probably the funnest game I worked on. So imagine that. Next slide. Okay, so I want to warn you, I'm going to play a video. This is of me in a motion capture suit. I did pull my hamstring, so you have to watch for it, but it'll be forever recorded in history. So next slide, please. So that's me. Did you see the pop? Fortunately, the cameras were rolling. I've gotten a lot of laughs out of that. This one's a little silly too.
Oh my God, that was...
Okay, next slide, please. Thank you. So I'm going to show a professional wrestler model later. The guy in the bottom, that was his name, a professional wrestler. That was the first game that I worked on for the PlayStation back in 1998. Took a trip to a Hollywood studio, or it's like a private museum actually. I'm holding the actual King Kong from the 1933 movie. You know, it's very cool to hold that. And then I had a chance to meet a lot of interesting folks like Shaquille O'Neal doing motion capture. So it's been a lot of fun. Next slide, please. This is just some of the work that I've done. They played that at the UCF Stadium at the Orange Bowl when there was a touchdown. This model right here is only about 350 polygons. That's that same wrestler. That was on the PlayStation 1. This next model I'm going to show was that same character using the same source material for the PlayStation 2. And you'll see that the fidelity has grown about 10 times the amount. So able to put a little bit more detail. And it's just every piece of hardware that comes out, it's just, you know, the fidelity of the work is so much higher, and like those are the size textures that I used for the second one. Those tiny textures right there are the ones that were for the first game. So the storage and the capacity and the power of these game systems, every generation, they increase exponentially in power. Next slide, please. So when I was young, I saw Tron. And I always knew that I liked art. I liked playing asteroids. And so I decided I'm going to do computer graphics for a living. And I knew that the University of Utah did computer graphics. So next slide, please. Next slide. So they're pioneers of computer graphics at the University of Utah. There we see David Evans and Ivan Sutherland. A lot of simulation companies have started from that group. Next slide, please. So, did you think that you were the first one to be drawing on a computer when you got your iPad? Well, they were doing it at the University of Utah back in 1963. So real pioneers there. Next slide. Next slide, please. Also, back in the late 60s, they were doing virtual reality research. Next slide, please. Next slide. Next slide. So Doug Bowser, who's president of Nintendo USA, he was an alumni of University of Utah. He comes and speaks often at our program. Next slide, please. Nolan Bushnell, co-founder of Atari, visited us. He's also a University of Utah graduate. Next slide, please. Ed Catmull, founder of Pixar and president of Disney Animation, also a University of Utah student. Next slide. Alan Kay, he helped co-invent the laptop, object-oriented programming, and graphical user interfaces. So for me, it is an absolute privilege to work at a university where computer science was paving the ground for computer graphics. Next slide, please. John Warnock, founder of Adobe. Next slide, please. And that is Bob Kessler. He's the founder of EAE. He was the chair of computer science at the University of Utah. I'm indebted to him for many reasons. Unfortunately, he passed away about a year and a half ago, but I consider him about the most famous one up there. Next slide, please. Okay, so Utah Games is, according to U.S. News and World Report, is number one in public school systems and third in the industry or game schools overall. Next slide, please. 2021, we also ranked number one for game school in the country by Animation Review. Next slide, please. And we've done pretty well with the Princeton reviews throughout the years too. Next slide, please. So we have undergraduate and graduate degree programs. And as I said, we're going to be working on a doctorate. Next slide, please. And our students are working all over the industry in great jobs, and there's nothing more exciting than being a teacher watching your students go off and succeed. Next slide, please. So we're a project-based curriculum. It's very collaborative. Students must publish games, and many of them publish on Steam. Next slide. So we have production, project management, game design, software engineering, artists and animators, and technical artists. And this is what you wanted to see. Next slide, please. These are some of our student games. I took these off of Steam. You can download them. There you go. Thank you.
I do not say that we should or will go unprotected against the hostile misuse of space. But I do say that space can be explored and mastered. There is no strife, no prejudice, no national conflict in outer space as yet. Its hazards are hostile to us all. But why, some say, the moon? Why choose this as our goal? And they may well ask, why climb the highest mountain? Why 35 years ago fly the Atlantic? We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things. Not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win.
So that's a game trailer our students made. That was for We Went Back, meaning to the moon. Okay, so why pursue a games degree? Next slide, please. So the games industry prefers to hire people that know how to work on teams. Probably one of the biggest reasons to go to a school. It's not, we don't teach anything that's not freely available. It's just when you're in the environment. Working together on teams is where you can learn those very important skills of teamwork. Next slide, please. We always tell our students that their cohort is the beginning of their network. Networking with people for you students out there is by far the best way to get a job. So you always want to have your game face and your happy face, and don't leave anybody mad. Speaking of that, about you, if somebody recommends you for a job, what would they ask?
Oke, ya Bapak Ibu, saya menjawab pertanyaan yang ada di layar. Kira-kira pertanyaan apa yang paling sering ditanyakan? Experience.
Okay.
Experience.
Next slide, please.
Okay. Is it correct?
What they ask is how, if somebody's referring you, they're going to look at your portfolio and they're going to say, great, but how are they to work with? So this is really the key for being successful in the game industry. It's a very collaborative process. There's people from that are a lot smarter in so many ways, and people that are really knowledgeable in their own disciplines. And these disciplines all have to come together, and they have to work together in order to make the final product. So next slide. Next slide. It is competitive. Next slide, please. Okay, so I was going to talk about characters a little bit. How am I doing on time? Okay. Yeah, so I mean, as humans, we're storytellers. We get together and we compete. Next slide, please. I mean, throughout history, we've competed in games on the board, out in the field. Next slide, please. They were playing soccer, although I think it was probably a little more brutal brand of it in South America. Next slide, please. Now we're going to talk about characters. Next slide. And if you'd hit play. So this is there we go. So this is from one of my concept art classes, where they're going in and doing the ideation of this character. This character happens to be a croc-a-goat, so it's a half crocodile, half goat. Those are the textures there. So Rita, she painted it there with the concept, and then she built it in 3D. This is Danny's work. I asked them to come up with a visual target, to come up with thumbnails of different types of characters, a wide variety, and then to start narrowing them down. And so the character on the right was the one that she narrowed down to her final design. Another good example of that design process here, where the student is looking at their inspiration for the character, and in this case here, also the target art style. So she's really doing her research and working out the kind of character that she wants to make. Had them come up with styles and themes and like motives and emotions of how the characters would be. And so she's kind of wound the character down. You can see it's a little stiff there, so she made a little more of a dynamic pose and then some more iterations. And finally wound up with a character on the right, and then when you look at the two together, I think she did a great job of matching the art style of the other one along with the target type of character. Next slide, please. Next slide. So this is, I have a class where, press play, please. So I have a class where I teach the students how to make characters walk. And so this one's it only has 2 legs, but he's making it very lively. So they take the animations and they put them in the game engine and they build state machines so that they can get them in the game engine and tie them to controllers. That's a lot of fun. Okay. This will be finished playing in maybe about 10 seconds. Here's a sack animation that one of my students did. The idea was to bring the flour sack to life. And I get inspired by my students. They're the ones with the talent. Another student here, the idea was to change the direction in a run and make it look believable. So characters and animation, stuff that I get to teach and stuff that I get to see my students show me how to do it. Okay, so I guess I need to stop now. I could ramble on for hours, but thanks for watching, looking at some of the work the students have done.
Thank you very much for the great presentation, and also you show us a lot of awesome things there. And I believe there are the audiences here has questions or thoughts to share with you. So I open question answer sessions. I'd like to invite you to give maybe 2 questions regarding to the time. Yes, any question? Okay.
Thank you.
there's the question.
Okay, my name is Putri Surya Cempaka. Thank you, Professor Salisbury. That was such extraordinary presentation. And I have a question. Based on your expertise, and since most of us here are academics and we have obligation to do research and community service, how do we insert game developing or gamification into our research and community services? Thank you so much.
Okay, so if I understand, you're asking how you do both of them at the same time? Yeah, well, that's the trick, isn't it? We've been really busy teaching because our program has grown and grown. We're finally getting some resources. In fact, the next slide was going to talk about the president of the university just gave us $25 million. Oh, wow. So we're going to be hiring some folks, which is it's a relief because there's so much teaching to do. But we need to do some research. I am more of a clinical line faculty member, so I'm most required to do my teaching and all that stuff and a lot of community service. So I'd maybe consider stuff like this it's really a thrill to to speak at conferences and maybe guide students and demos. It's enjoyable. But it is hard. It takes extra time. I don't know if I answered your question. And I honestly don't know how I juggle that stuff. You just look for you just enjoy the work and you look forward to the light at the end of the tunnel and it will come. Having summers off when you've been doing 70 or 80 hours a week during the school year, you can look forward to a couple months off in the summer.
Yeah. Ms. Putri, any further thought? So yeah, enjoy your works. That's the key. Okay. Thank you very much. Maybe one more question. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, Professor Bryans. I have a question about what the method of lectures that you did with your student, and the other, how the way you facilitate the student for study in Utah.
How do we? I didn't catch the last one.
How the way you facilitate the student?
How do we accept them?
Yeah, accept them and facilitate the study.
Give facilities.
The way, how the way?
The university or the lectures?
The university and the lectures.
Yeah, how do the university or the lecturers give facilities to the students? The way.
Okay. How do we? Yeah. Essentially, how do we teach?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Well, in my case, I do my very best to keep up. I try to do the assignments that I have these students do, so I can keep up on my skill set. If you rest, you get rusty. So I try to do that. I try to explain to the students, the underlining themes, like say of modeling, for instance. I see models as big shapes, and then maybe secondary shapes, and then maybe tertiary shapes. And each part of this process of constructing a shape, I like to think of the shape in terms of peaks and valleys. So you've got a point here that's sticking out, and you've got another point there that's coming in. And if you can focus on peaks and valleys and the main shape, well, then the rest will come. Point being is that you don't get into the details too soon. I try to warn the students about pitfalls. I try to give them just enough of a introduction to the software and the principles and let them work on it, and then we just slowly keep it advancing. It's, sometimes it's difficult, like in the animation class. I think not everybody that takes animation wants to be an animator. And so, but they're just interested in the subject. And so maybe half the class is there they're interested, but do they really want to be an animator? And so the answer is, usually no. There's, maybe 25%. And so how do I balance the rigor of animation so that the ones that really want to do it can learn? And how do I balance that with those who, they're working full-time, they're trying to get their degree? That's the hard part, I think. But, okay. I also, I found this out. I hope I'm not going too much over, but there's just one thing I'd like to say. So I had a dear professor. He was an older gentleman from Scotland, and he was an anatomy expert. And I took figure sculpting or figure drawing classes with him every year. And he was passionate about anatomy. He could just make anatomy just like the most interesting thing in the world, and talk about shapes and how they flow and how they different types of shapes flow together, and the proportion and scale of one shape to another. His enthusiasm was just, it would magnetize me. And so when I was teaching my figure sculpting class, where we're doing it digitally, I endeavored to have that same enthusiasm that I admired in him. And it worked with that particular class. I wound up getting, I've gotten 3 teaching awards in my figure sculpting class. And it's just trying to motivate the students, congratulating them, helping them solve problems, and trying to share the excitement of, the wonder of the human body. It's amazing. So I guess passion is a big part of it. Trying to spread that passion to your students and helping them find their passion. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, answer my question. Yeah, thank you so much, Professor Brian.
Thank you very much for the questions. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, Prof. Salisbury, for the answer regarding the time. So let's continue to our second speaker, Dr. Dina Mehmet Smith. So let's welcome. But before that, I'd like to briefly introduce her to you all. So Dr. Dina is an associate professor at University College London, and she obtained her bachelor degree at University of Osijek, correct me if I'm wrong, the pronunciation, in Croatia, and a master's degree as well as PhD degrees in University of London. She's also on the editorial board of a number of reputable journals, and also involved in a lot of international works. That's fantastic. Okay, Dr. Dina, please,
thank you
the
very
time
much.
and yours, yours.
Thank you. Is it okay if I stand at the lectern?
Of course, yes.
Okay, I'm very much used to lecturing this way, so it will be better for me to stand. Can you hear me? Yes, okay. Well, good morning, everybody. I am very grateful to the organizers for inviting me to contribute at this exciting conference. I'm very excited to be in your beautiful country and city. And as my colleague said, passion is very important in the work that we do. And my passion is in exploring diversity in terms of languages and cultures. And your country has such richness in terms of linguistic diversity. I am learning about over 700 languages that are used in Indonesia. Yesterday I was at your state polytechnic, and one of the lecturers there said she was interested to work on a PhD, and I said to her, okay, so what do you want to focus on? And she said, I want to focus on my regional language, which is slowly being lost because many young people don't think it's cool anymore to speak their regional language. And this is something that resonates across the globe. I work with international schools in North America, South America, in Europe, in Asia, in Australia, and in Dubai. I work with children who are of Arabic origin, Emirati origin. They think it's more important for them to focus on English, to succeed in English, and their parents are worried that they won't be able to speak Arabic once they become adults. I interviewed an inspector in Dubai, a school inspector, and I asked her, where do you see the future of Arabic in 20, 30 years in Dubai? And she said to me, please don't make me cry. Because she's very concerned and very aware that Arabic is being marginalized. And because there is such ambition and focus on achieving in English and going to international schools where English is used as medium of teaching, and many of these languages are being pushed aside, and children are using English even to play and communicate amongst their own siblings and with their friends. So this is just an introduction about what I'm passionate about and what I'm going to talk about today. Could I please have my presentation on screen? Okay, so I'm going to share with you the work that I do on an approach that I've developed based on my own research, which I've conceptualized as healthy linguistic diet. And since we are at the conference looking at creative industries, I'm going to talk about employing multilingualism to enhance creativity. Can I please have the next slide? I'd like to share with you that I come from the Institute of Education, University College London. We have over 100 years tradition of training teachers to work in London schools and schools in the UK. And for 10 consecutive years, we've been identified as #1 in the world for research in education and social sciences. Next slide, please. Okay. I would like to start by taking you to London to see some of the children that I work with. And the video that I want to show you is just going to be a short part of it. All of it is available on my website, and you can watch it at your leisure. But I want you to see some of the multilingual children that I work with. And this video was made as part of a big international project that brought together 13 multilingual cities in Europe, but we also had partners from from Canada and Australia. And we were exploring multilingualism in education, in business, in public sphere and private sphere. My big focus is to always consult children, to ask them about their experiences, their views, and bring that element into research, into recommendations and guidance that we provide based on our research findings. So you are going to see here a few children from a school in East London. And I just want to say that the film was made on a shoestring budget, filmed by a teacher on a Monday morning. You will hear some background noise. That was the class next door. They had some sort of PE that involved disco music. So London is very happening and swinging even on Monday morning. But there will be subtitles. So, yes. London is a home to over 1 million bilingual children attending state schools, international schools, and a growing number of bilingual schools. According to Language Capital Study, London school children speak 233 languages. This video is based on a conversation with a group of 8-year-old bilingual children in Newport School in East London. This film is going to be shown in a special place in a university in central London. And there'll be lots of teachers there from Italy, from Croatia, from Belgium, from Bulgaria, from 13 different countries. And all these teachers want to know how it's best to help children who speak other languages to learn English. Okay, and I think you have a lot to say to these teachers, how they can help children like you. Okay, and we want to hear first of all who you are and what languages you speak. And you started telling me how you got here and how you couldn't speak English. So let's start with you.
And I came to Newport School out of was a yellow table and I didn't know how to speak English. So when I came here I just needed a dictionary and I went to nursery. I went to that nursery when I was still this age because I couldn't speak English. It was really hard for me to understand. I could more understand than speak. So now I can more speak than understand actually. So when I came, I still thought myself in Italy and sometimes I got confused and I spoke Italian with someone English.
And how old were you?
I was this age. So I was just 8 from a little bit of time. Now I'm 8.5 years old.
Okay. And what helped you then when it was really hard for you? What kind of things helped you? Did teachers do something to help you?
Yes, they did. On the lowest table, the teacher helps everyone. And I think only a little bit of English that moment. So that little bit of English helped me learn more. In the amount of time I could understand it, and now I feel myself English.
Okay, and I see you reading books which have pictures and words. Do you think books like that help children learn English?
Yes, because with pictures, if you don't understand the words, then maybe you already understand a little bit, and the pictures will help you. But now I already read thick books without pictures in English.
Excellent, thank you very much. And you didn't tell us what other languages you speak. You mentioned Italian?
Italian, Persian. Persian because my origin is Persian and my mother is Persian and my dad is Persian.
Excellent. And your name?
It's Parnia, P-A-R-N-I-A.
Fantastic, thank you. Okay, who would like to go next?
I am...
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. So you saw here with how much pride this little girl talked about the language that her mommy speaks and her daddy speaks. She calls it Persian. She said she comes from Persia, which of course is modern Iran, but she prefers to use the old name. And what we notice that happens is that children, once they reach secondary school, if you ask them if they speak another language, even though teachers know that their parents need interpreters for open evenings and when they come to school and they hear them talk another language in the playground. But with spending time with their friends in their schools, they kind of realize that their languages are not that valued and that what's valued is being good at English. And then they become kind of taking on this monolingual identity that they consider to be the desirable one, and they will say, I only speak English. So my work is focused on promoting the benefits of bilingualism and promoting multilingualism as a resource for everybody. This film that you saw was shown at an international conference in London. It was also uploaded on the school's website and shown during the assembly for the whole school. So all the children and parents who came were able to see these students talk about their languages. And the nice thing that happened was when I went to school after this film was shown to all the parents and children, I had children running towards me and say, Miss, I know what you do. You make films. Can I be in your next film? I can speak other languages. And this is what we want. We want to use creative ways to employ children enjoying the languages and showing off their languages as a resource, and therefore, make them feel that this is something they should be proud of and something that is their linguistic and cultural capital that they can use later on to also become their economic capital, to become part of their career, part of their success in life. So I want to tell you about how healthy linguistic diet's been developed, and I'm also trying to learn a few words in your language. So I had colleagues help me translate it, and according to the translation, it's diet linguistic yang sehat. And I want to tell you how this approach enhances creativity. So can I have the next slide, please? Okay, so just to share with you how this approach was developed, I've been working in different roles with bilingual, multilingual children and families. As a teacher, as a researcher, I also had projects running with Royal Court Theatre in London, which is a theatre that focuses on promoting new voices, marginalized voices. We had a theatre play performed in English and Bosnian, and written by young people using both languages on stage. I've done cycle of studies that's interviews with parents in bilingual families, with head teachers in schools where you have 70 plus languages spoken by children. And also I'm interested to see what politicians think and say about bilingualism and how that shapes political discourse and national policies. I was very aware that in London we need an approach that addresses the complexities of hyperdiversity. You heard in the video clip that we've identified 233 languages spoken in London. This means that a teacher can go into a classroom and have 15, 16 different languages just in one class. So how do you promote all these languages when obviously there is no hope that you can be able to speak them or read them, and sometimes it can be the case that you never even heard of a language before the child turned up in your classroom and said that this is what they used at home. What I've identified in my work is that one of the most detrimental forces going against multilingualism being used in a resourceful and creative way is something that's theorized as language hierarchies. And this is basically the perception, the view that some languages are more desirable than others. So you are all aware that English is a global language, that everybody wants to be able to communicate and study in English, and there's a big focus on that around the world. And therefore, lots of children experience that the languages they speak don't have much value. I interviewed a boy in London who speaks Bengali, who said to me, "Miss, Bengali has no value. Bengali is only used in communities and families. I have to study Spanish and French because this is what employers want." A healthy linguistic diet is about giving all languages equal value, equal status, and I will tell you how. Can I have the next slide, please? Okay, so in the development of healthy linguistic diet, there was one critical moment where I was running a focus discussion group with Bengali-speaking boys, 14 years old, in Pimlico School in London, and we were talking about the reasons that they were underachieving. And one of the boys said, "Miss, we underachieve because we speak 2 languages." So you can see how the children have internalized this deficit view of bilingualism, and they consider it something that is holding them back. In that same group was a child who immediately responded and said, "No, that is not true. I read in a scientific journal that bilingualism is good for your brain." What happened to me in that moment is, what we call a light bulb moment, when you realize that there's something important that you were not doing. And even though I was doing all these bilingual plays and other activities in schools where children were using other languages, I actually didn't have sessions which were structured around talking about bilingualism, what it means to be bilingual, why that is good for us. And this moment showed me very clearly that we need to talk to young people, to children, in a very explicit way about what it means to be bilingual and why that is important. Not only young people, not only children. I was working with a teacher who said to me she speaks Yoruba at home, which is a Nigerian language, and obviously teaches in English. And she said, I thought that bilingualism only applied to people who spoke European languages. So again, a view that, that there are languages which are of so little importance on the world stage that these people don't even think when we talk about bilingualism that they feature in that concept. Next slide, please. So as I said, I was looking for something that I call a winning card that gives all languages equal value. And this winning card I found in clinical research that provides evidence to do with cognitive values of bilingualism. This means that all different combinations of languages will give us this same benefit that I will tell you about. Next slide, please. I've been very fortunate to have developed a partnership with a leading neuroscientist and a trained medical doctor, Thomas Bach, whom you've seen in this photo. And we met through our work with Brussels, with the European Commission for Multilingualism. And we now publish together, work together, and we also have this website, Healthy Linguistic Diet, where you can find all our publications and also this video if you want to use it and watch it. Next slide, please. So the mission that Thomas and I have is to initiate a shift in thinking about learning another language, about maintaining your regional language, your local dialect. It's in the fact that we shouldn't consider learning a language only as an academic subject, but something that's an ingredient of our well-being, something that's good for our cognitive development. So we aim that in the future, doctors will be recommending learning another language in the same way that they recommend not eating fatty food or doing 10,000 steps during the day for your physical health. Next slide, please. And this is already happening in Edinburgh, where Thomas is based. There are centers for people who suffer from dementia, which is a very vicious illness on steep increase because we live longer lives. And many people now suffer with dementia, which means that eventually they will not be able to look after themselves, which causes huge burden on the society. In the European Union, something like 23 billion euros go on looking after people who have dementia. So in this nursing home, there are researchers, trainers who go in to work with people in this age on learning another language. And we have research to show that a group of participants who were in their 70s after learning a language for 3 weeks, already showing positive changes on their brain. So Thomas published a study that's titled Never Too Late, and this is about the evidence that we have that if you learn another language at any age, it will show benefits. But of course, you have to continue using it, like you have to continue exercising and you have to continue eating in a healthy way if you want to see the benefits for your body. Next slide, please. Okay, so healthy linguistic diet is about focus on developing lifelong habits. As I said, it's not good just doing a short language course. You have to be using that language regularly, consistently. This is something that we know that will help us from early age to advanced age in terms of enhanced cognitive functioning. Next slide, please. Okay, and our important part of our mission is to really reach out to children, to parents. We always do sessions with children in schools talking about multilingualism, about these advantages. And whenever I work in schools, I also meet with parents, because parents are key in this process of developing bilingual skills at home, maintaining home languages and passing them on to the new generation. So we really want everybody to be aware that 2 languages are as good for us as drinking 2 liters of water a day. Next slide, please. So the analogy we are using is with physical exercise, healthy nourishment, and the link with cognitive functioning. In the UK, we have an initiative that's called Healthy School Initiative, which was brought in by the government as a national strategy when it was identified that over 30% of children were obese because they were not following healthy diet styles, and they were obviously spending too much time on the computers and screens, and therefore this was showing in terms of the levels of obesity. So I was advocating that learning another language should be part of healthy school initiatives, and that in the same way that we promote eating 5 pieces of fruit and vegetable a day, we should promote using 2 languages a day. Next slide, please. Yes? 1 more minute, yeah. Okay, this is the slide that shows very quickly the benefits that bilingualism gives us, and that's from empowering our executive control, which is very important when it comes to anything that we work on in terms of academic achievement, but also the studies have found that it improves our creativity. Next slide, please. Okay, I want to share with you an example from Australia, but I don't have time for that. Next slide, please. Okay, this is from teachers in Italy who've been using healthy linguistic diet, who say that using first languages in their work has really shown them that this is the way to enhance teachers' and children's creativity. And this teacher said, linguistic diversity can become an extraordinary tool of connection among speakers, but it also connects different areas of knowledge. You can use multilingualism by practicing in enhancing music, art, digital, oral skills, etc. As a result, creativity becomes the way to employ linguistic diversity in different learning contexts. So I will stop at this quote because I think that this is really the most relevant to this conference, and I hope that it will inspire you to think how to employ multilingualism in the development of your work. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please give applause to Ms. Dina. Okay, thank you very much. It was very enlightening. About 2 waters a day equal to using 2 languages. Okay. Regarding to the time, I'd invite the audience here to ask maybe one question. Yes, please.
All right. Thank you, Dina. I do appreciate your model of the teaching learning process, right? Diet, linguistic, health, linguistic diet. Yeah. Because I remember when I was in Oxford Brook University, visiting the School of Publishing there, and of course they have a lab school for the kindergarten school, right? And from that visiting, I do translate the international standard competence of publishing industries in United Kingdoms. And of course, in 2017, we are having the standard also for our country, Indonesia. But the problem is, our standard is not executable in Indonesia because it is still in the level of high. And after reading all the competence level of publishing industry in United Kingdom, there are 7 levels. I learned it from that document, right? And that's, I decided the model of teaching process. I call it PBLL, Public Planner Based Language Learning. The process of teaching from pre-writing, drafting, revising, editing, publishing, marketing, delivering, right? And I did exercise that model for the kindergarten here until the university student. And after seeing your presentation about IDL, I do interest to have a collaboration with you someday to discuss about our collaboration research, to further about my study, of course to implement these systems in the process of teaching learning process from the simulation or role plays of teaching from pre-writing, drafting, revising, editing, publishing, marketing, and delivering. That's why, because I did adapt that model from the system of I add one more competencies, that means actualizing concept, not only conceptualizing content, right? So maybe someday later we are going to discuss more detail about these collaborations. And thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you. Excellent. Thank you very much. Very interested in that. Thank you.
Thank you. It's a kind of proposal to have collaboration. Okay. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, please give applause once again to Dr. Dina. Yeah, you may go back to the seat. Thank you very much. Yeah, dear Excellencies, so we still have 2 more speakers, but they are joining us online. Let me check here. Is Professor Polkowski, are you there? Yeah. Sure. Oh, for Ms. Dina? Oh, okay, that's okay. One more question, sorry.
Maybe while we are waiting from the online Zoom speakers, hello. Hello. Good morning or good day, I think. My name is Leah. I'm a lecturer from publishing study program in Polymedia. So in Indonesia, we have about 700 language, more or less, I think. And many of our children in remote area, far away from Jakarta, it's not even can speak Indonesian or Bahasa. So our struggle is how we can, maybe they are, some of them is an educated children in a remote area, so there is no school there. So my question is, do you have a method you can share with us? How do we make them speak Bahasa or Indonesian language without losing their original language? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, these are very important questions. My main strategy to recommend is bilingual materials. If you are teaching them literacy, they should be seeing the script in their language and in Bahasa. If they are doing oral presentations, then they should be encouraged to do it in both languages. Of course, some of these regional languages are probably very small in terms of number of speakers. There aren't resources that exist bilingually. But I work with children in the classroom to make their own books. If they're writing about how they spend their holiday, I will say, okay, do this in Arabic and in English together, sentence for sentence. And then they say, Miss, but you can't speak Arabic, you can't read it. Why am I doing this for you? And I said, well, it's for me to see that you can do both, to see your script, but also when we have other children come who can read Arabic, they can read your book. So that makes sense to them. And, you know, they will be surprised when you ask them first time to do something bilingually. But if that's an expectation that they will do homework bilingually, they will be invited to do their presentation bilingually, then they will get used to it. That will be their norm, and they will not question that any longer. So I would say, and this is what I'm doing also in schools in Dubai, we are making sure that all displays are bilingual, that there are bilingual dictionaries, there are resources which are bilingual. So always looking to, you know, bring the two languages together. Otherwise, what we're doing is, you know, teaching English in one classroom, teaching Arabic in another classroom, keeping them as separate, whereas, of course, children in their brain are handling both languages and trying to make sense of their bilingual experience. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for the questions. Is there any other question? Okay. So it's break time? Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll pass it over to the MC.
Thank you for the keynote speaker. Please stay on the stage. Oh, yeah. Okay. Please stay on the stage to receive the appreciation. Please welcome to the stage Mr. Nova Darmanto, MSc, and Mr. Mawan Nugraha, PhD, to hand on the appreciation.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated. Okay, to continue our agenda, ladies and gentlemen, for the third session, we would like to invite Lisa Amalia Putri MA, and please welcome our invited speaker in the online platform, Professor Dr. Izisław Polkowski from WSG University of Poland, and Professor Thomas Kohler from TUD Technische Universität Dresden.
Yeah, thank you very much, Master of Ceremony. Let me check. Mr. Polkowski, hi. Can you hear me? Oh, masih mute. Oh, you are in the mute mode. Can you turn it on?
Can you hear me?
Yes, perfect. We can hear you. Hi, how are you? It's nice to see you again, even virtually.
Okay. So, Assalamualaikum, good morning, Dzień dobry, guten Tag.
Waalaikumsalam.
So,
Good
I'm very
morning.
glad to participate in this conference. It is honor for me. Let me share my screen. So, could you give me rights to share my screen, please?
Yes, sure, please.
Still is blocked.
Yeah, it's on the screen now. Can you see it?
Yeah, now it's okay. Can you see my presentation?
Yes, yes, we can see it.
Okay. Today I would like to say a few words about the role of green information technology in creative industries. So shortly, green IT. So this is agenda of my presentation. So at the beginning, few words about creative industries, ecology in Poland, because we have changed our mind in Poland. If you compare, for example, state of art, what we have right now and 20, 30 years ago, then green IT, few words about green IT. Also, I would like to say a few words about some promising area, green Internet of Things, and finally, it will be, I'm going to say conclusion about green IT in creative industry. There are many definitions of the creative industries, as you see, include music, performing arts, crafts, film, video games, museums, publishing, design, architecture, advertising, marketing. So it means we could ask ourselves, so if we use IT, information technology, computers in this area or not, this answer for this question is obvious. In each area nowadays we are using IT, and I think it will be still. So it means this is a progress which is developing day by day. So as you see, this is a next definition, commercial and industrial production sectors involved in general new culture contributors through creative skills. skill and talent. So, but for me, the most important during this conference, this is this definition. So as you see, this term, according to some information, started, this area started in 1919s. So in context of IT in creative industry, we can specify those areas which I'm presenting right now. For me, the most important, for example, is Internet of Things, cloud computing, or also augmented reality, big data, and also web technology. So this is a market of Internet of Things and some predictions. So as you see, some areas which I'm showing on this picture are also related to this creative industry. So creative industry is affected by many challenges. So this is a first challenge: bespoke technology development. Next challenge: archiving and digital preservation, displaying and presenting, interaction and engagement. This is also important challenge. But what is important in this area, and this very important challenge, is also IP security and data protection. In Europe, in this moment, we are dealing with GDPR. This is General Data Regulation Protection. So it means all data should be protected, all IT systems should be protected. As you know, in context of this area, creative industry, some security aspects and to protect some data, some information, also personal data, are very important. So some few words about ecology. And because we are using and we are collecting a very large amount of data generated by computer, we should be aware that it has influence for environment. So unfortunately, mostly negative. So that's why in Europe and in Poland, we started to deal with green IT. If I compare Poland right now, and for example, as I said at the beginning, 20, 30 years ago, in this moment, I can say that Poland is not clean country. This is very clean country because we started to implement some green approaches in all areas, also in IT. So for example, 10 years ago, I wasn't think about it. So it was not important for me, ecology in IT. But since 2020, I started to deal with a green IT, and I started to think how to use IT in better way. I mean, how to use IT
Recording
and
in progress.
protect environment. Sorry. So those types of actions, as a consequence, will lead to the next stage of technological progress, which will be clean world, clean country. So a few words, more words about ecology in Poland. So in context of architecture, take a look, this is a highway. And we many highways in Poland. For example, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, only a few. So this is progress. So it has a very positive influence on ecology. So next, some context energy. We try to use renewable energy. So as you see, many day by day, year by year is growing up. So next slides, as you see. So 10 years ago, we didn't segregate garbage. Now we segregate garbage. What's more, So we are thinking some unuseful things to do something new, to do new things. In the past, we didn't do that. So also we started to use and to implement some architecture for electric cars. We are not leaders, as you Scandinavian countries and West Europe in this context are much better. So what next? We have started to make our cities smart, and this picture present how it looks like in my country. So now a few words about green computing. So it means we have changed our minds. We are using IT, and now we try to use this IT in context of green, in context of ecology. Green computing or green IT refers to practice of using computing resources more efficiently. Going green is a rising trend establishing itself, and this trend is supported by our government and as well by EU government. That means we are going to use less energy reducing ways and promoting sustainability and environment. Green computing aims to reduce the carbon footprint generated by IT. So now I'm presenting you some sign. This sign is used by some factories, by brands, and it shows us that devices are green. This is an Energy Star program, and it shows us that we are using green devices. Green IT is related to cloud computing, material recycling, power management, virtualization, telecommunication, as I said, cloud computing system. In context of a creative industry, many applications, many programs are operating in clouds. So that's why this is a good trend, and we are still developing this trend in my country. So to improve the current e-waste situation, recommendations have been provided, as you see on the slide, creating awareness among the peoples, generating methods and producers that will help in disposing the electronics, creation of well-defined standards and rules for managing e-waste applicable for the world. So when we started to deal with in green IT, so let me say about myself, I started to deal with in 2020. In the past, not too much. I just heard about it, about this trend. But of course, in context, if we are talking about ecology and segregation of garbage, etc. So it was started by our government, and everybody in this moment follows according some regulations. But if we are talking about green IT, is quite new approach in my country. So what we will have if we use green IT, first of all, we will have smart schools, smart universities. We will have chance to use, as I said before, unused create things and energy to use less resources to do something. So there are many green Internet of Things application and solutions. Green Internet of Things, this is next trend inside of green IT. As you have heard, day by day, we are connecting more and more devices to the internet. Even in the future, we can expect that animals and people will be connected to the internet. So we will say in the future, not about green, Internet of Things, but we will say green Internet of everything. So this is the trend. But so for some people who are not dealing IT, this approach, this opinion is quite controversial. So now I'm presenting you some green Internet of Things applications which we can use in specific areas, also in creative industry. So as a last step of my presentation, I would like to tell you about my project. This is a project, Web Technology and Green Internet of Things, which we started to implement with friends, partners from Portugal and Turkey. And this project shows how to use IT in ecology manner, ecology way. So if you want, you can go to this website. You can see what we have done. This is about project. This is description of partners. And for this project, we got from EU 100,000 euros last year. And in the future, we are going to continue this, let's say, approach, go to this road, to this way, because we are shown that technology should go in parallel way with ecology. So at the end of my speech, as a conclusion, I can say that a lot of people talk about green IT right now, and a lot of people believe in this moment that is necessary. But however, yet there are not, it has not been translated into significant actions. So it means I believe that we should do more in this area, also in context of creative industry. So, but the most important is education of students, teacher, and ordinary people in context of green computing, green IT, green Internet of Things, and green Internet of everything. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Polkowski, for the presentation. Now we open QA session. Yeah, I invite the audience to have questions. Yeah, so we have Mr. Mawan here to ask the question.
Okay, thank you, Professor Polowski. I think your presentation give more new idea for us. But actually, I have a little bit question because actually a little bit I do not agree with you about your speaking related to offering the clean word because of IT era. Because in my opinion, once we have IT more electric devices in a household level because of over by the IT era, so the waste may be more dangerous than the organic waste, for example. So in my thinking, in the increase the use of IT, it will push the use of electronic devices in household level, which means the electronic waste will increase, and I think that's more dangerous. What do you think, bro? Thank you.
So thank you very much. A very good question. So I don't agree with you because in Europe we have agenda that till 2050 we will do, we will use IT, we will use cars, but we will not cause any negative impact for environment. If you search internet, if you write, so influence of IT and agenda for 2050, you will see that all EU countries have to follow according this agenda. So year by year, we are using IT, we are using cars, but we still implementing ecological solutions. So as I said before, now I can tell you, I don't know if you have visited Poland or not, but everybody who visits my country first time says clean country, but this is now, but not 20, 30 years ago. So we have to, but there is no way. We have to use IT. Probably you are using mobile phone, you are using laptop, you are using internet. There is no way just to use green energy, use solar energy, wind energy, water energy, etc. So I suggest you to read agenda and try to implement this agenda in Asia in your country.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you very much for the response, Professor Polkowski. Is there
Thank
any
you very
other
much.
question?
Check. Thank you. Please introduce myself. My name is Dedi from Game Technology Study Program. To the professor, I want to ask suggestion or feedback relating to our country situation. Indonesia, as the definition, is still a third world country. We are still lack of infrastructures, human resource, or so-called, maybe in the term of IT, is programmers. I heard in one of the podcasts from Stanford University, which the respondent said that he found similar problems in Brazil, which is maybe can be compared as Indonesia as the emerging countries. They have also problem with lack of university that produce programmers. So me as a alumni from one of German university, so also the gap with the European agenda or the international agenda with the current situation in the third world or in emerging countries. So what are your suggestions, probably your feedback about the situation that the agenda is so advanced in outside our country, but our current situation, such as the internet, are not spreading evenly in all region or in all province, such as the main island Java had the good, relatively good connection, internet connection, maybe still 4G, not 5G, but islands such as Papua or Sumatra even is still not very good connected. And then after the infrastructures, we need also programmers or experienced programmers. We are still lacking. And also probably the main problem is the funding. ITs or green ITs needs a lot of infestation. So money is also the problem, beside the human and the infrastructure. Maybe you have some experience in other emerging countries, how they cope with this problem and can advanced so they can play along with this agenda. Thank you very much, Professor.
Thank you very much. So first of all, I would like to tell you that I visited many countries in Asia, Africa, and Middle East, and no situation in Asia, Africa, and Middle East, etc. And what to do? I think this conference, this is good method to share. I'm saying something. What we had in the past. We had dirty country. Now we have fantastic, well-developed country. And it's true that our government, Polish government, support us very much, but also EU government. What's more, I told you that I won project. I'm manager of this project. And what is interesting, because it was quite unique approach, because people were thinking, what is connection? Ecology and IT, ecology and computers. It doesn't make sense. But what is interesting, we have taken first place in Poland. Maximum points were 100. We had 96. So it means this is very unique, very good approach. And I'm finishing this project. And next step will be do next project related to green cloud computing, green internet of everything, etc. So, but it could be good from Asia, Middle East, Africa, visit Europe, visit some countries. But I would never say that in those countries, you said that you are a bit behind of Europe. I don't think so. The biggest problem is population. In Poland, we have just 38 millions of citizens. So you have much more people. And what to do? To organize conferences, to do international project. Also, maybe you are not aware that countries from outside of Europe can do projects, EU project supported by EU. For example, Erasmus Plus program. And this Erasmus Plus program works not just inside of Europe, but also works with countries outside of Europe. And for example, I collaborate in this project with Philippines and India, and also with some countries in Africa. So just share. And it is not that we know everything and we have done everything. We are also taking some good examples from your country, from Asia, from Africa, from Middle East. So just collaborate, make friends, establish some connections, and to go something together. Thank you so much.
Professor Polkowski, please give applause. Okay, Professor Polkowski, I think if the participants here are still having questions, they can reach you to your email.
So, okay, I will write my email address on the chat, okay?
Okay, that's great. Thank you once again for attending this conference. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now... ladies and gentlemen, now we have...
You can find my website. Thank you.
Oh yeah, our pleasure. At Toothface, Technische Universität Dresden in Germany, and he has some education background here. He had psychology, physical and sociology at FSU, John and Swarthmore, and also the PhD in communication. And he also a director of Center for Open Digital Innovation and Participation. Okay, Professor Kohler, are you ready for the talk? So the time and the floor are yours.
Thank you so much for the kind welcome. Indeed, now I will just share my screen. My regards to the colleagues from Poland, Dzień dobry, and as well to the audience in Jakarta. So hopefully you can understand me clearly, and I can just start my presentation here. The collaboration patterns in industries with immaterial goods, which are especially relevant to developing sustainable research in the creative industries, but as well beyond. And I will just explain why this topic is came across our research as we are dealing with a number of organizational developmental patterns in the context of innovation and participation. I'm heading a respective center. Then the question is what kind of communication patterns, what kind of organizational boundaries can be relevant for bringing together respective individuals or even institutional organizational entities in the context of doing research and doing development together. And then the question of digital goods or immaterial products becomes especially meaningful because we do not have this so much need to move physical connections or to develop physical connections, and we may act as we do today by using online linkages in bringing people and institutes together, even all around the globe. So let me just give a brief structure for what I will do. I will first present or say a few words about my background. I may keep it brief because I've been talking here in the university before. Then I will talk about in this first step about what it means to organize academia online. And then before discussion, introduce a program for social entrepreneurs and future educators, which we have developed as well, similarly to what my Polish colleague did introduce before with the support of the European Union throughout the last years. So let me start with the education background, and sometimes there is just it's a QR code which you can use if you would be interested to learn more. Coming from TU Dresden, which is one of the top 3 universities of technology, we have a special branch here, which is the vocational teacher training program. And indeed, in Germany, we are the most differentiated actor in that field, having many different chairs for special didactics, but as well some of the overarching domains of vocational education, including theory, continuous education, and even education technology, which I'm dealing with. And there's a number of research activities implemented that have a focus on special didactics, and they always bring together analytical perspectives and the idea of transfer. So basic research with the idea of implementing the development into the respective training or even application domain, the intersection to the real labor market. That's the specialty with the vocational education program. This in far beyond the vocational school or the vocational training centers. It deals with the needs of the industry, all lifespan. In that context of educational technology chair, we are dealing especially with the using of digitally transformed objects and processes, and we have a strong background in international collaboration, especially with Asian partners, not only, but quite often with colleagues from Indonesia, but as well Vietnam, China, Laos, and many other of the Asian and Southeast Asian countries, especially Indonesia countries. So the program is finally supported by the respective general directorate. here at the CODIP Center for Open Digital Innovation Participation, our research is mainly focusing on what patterns of innovation can be found when it comes to open processes, and as well to several entities by using digital formats to innovation processes. And this may not be restricted to just a single sector location. It deals with all lifespan activities, doing senior citizens, including as well specific to train upcoming professions in the context of the digital society, knowledge society. And here we are as well investigating what might be the skills for a futurist behavior, a futurist professional practice, which is quite a lot in line with what we are discussing today and what has been outlined with the two speeches before, when it comes to green economy and digitalization or digital transformation, and as well when it comes to intercultural or multicultural perspectives on how education may function. And what I would have added with the colleagues' talk before about the multilingual education would be the role of AI and media-based technologies, digital media-based technologies for equipping the next generation school kids in order to let them somehow deal with different languages. So the question which I like to hear is what are the consequences creative trees when we have mainly digital infrastructures instead of physical infrastructures. So when we have digitally transferable contents that do not need to be put into a physical infrastructure, but could be just easily transferred or combined or exchanged, shared. And this is something that develops throughout a number of innovation projects we are dealing with. And as suggested, I will later on present one of the innovation programs that deal with the aspect of being a social then the needs concerning skills, but as well the opportunities of developing skills in relation to innovation and future type of research. This perhaps very much important is that the diversity of persons contribute to the same process may increase to some extent as persons would not necessarily the same institution, same organization, and would be located at the same place. This is the classical principle of forming production processes is needed anymore. Indeed, we can observe that meaningful contributions come from participants, single people, but as well institutional actors across countries or even across the globe. And many of the activities we did are trying to elaborate such new organizational structures in order to support development. This is just some examples. I jump over now and come to the question, what does it mean to organize academia online? So research and scholarly activity online. And we just recently published a book with the Springer publisher, and one of the chapters is indeed focused on organizing academia online. And our research dealt and deals with the question, what kind of organizational structure is identified in the context of a certain collaborative activity, as well taking into account that there might be different sizes, different patterns or different designs concerning the stability of organizational structures, but as well different types of digital media going to be used. And if you, for example, this you can see here on the lowest line, if you, for example, take into account the education aspect or the innovation aspect, you can see that we have some some larger infrastructures like ResearchGate or some smaller like the university's educational. But we prefer these virtual organizations are even of a permanent, let's say, a permanent structure. And what is the difference then between those last two examples is that the education model of university is bringing together the courses, so the class-based organizational structure or the faculty-based structure of the university, of the education institute in a structured way. So there are organizational substance. However, the ResearchGate, for example, is not bringing together the institutes representation, or the would rather focus on the individual person's contribution and brings those together. And in that sense, it's rather a meta network than a virtual organization. An organization always has some substructures. And on the other hand, we have a number of such entities which are just existing for a short time, like a virtual project, for example. So they are not sustainable in itself. They may long for a long time. Then they may necessarily being of permanent nature. So sustainability doesn't mean that the same group of people or the same collaboration must exist for a very long time. Even innovation may lead to always renewing those social entities. Still, in any case, there is a specific role of information technology, which is, well, being the backbone of this collaboration. And we may have even different tools and technologies that are specified for supporting the one or the other process. And you may identify examples from your industries, your sector's collaboration, especially meaningful if there is a pure immaterial well, process of collaboration or immaterial type of product like this most often in the media industry. So now let me move on with one more consideration here. There's an important aspect about the growing virtualization and the role of the principle, the mechanism of collaboration. And what we have started here some time ago is that there is only, or often enough, only social control that is the glue being used in the or being effective in the collaboration patterns. And what you can see here in this figure is that the institutional physical borders are exchanging or are being erased and replaced by media-based collaborations. And what we can see here with the larger or smaller units, then at the very end, in the most advanced level, there is all the connections coming from media, and somehow the organizational or social ties are always open. So it means that as well, those who are interested in the topic may enter, like it is possible with the social media, or as well, people who are not interested may just leave, what is perhaps quite a little different compared to a school class. We are usually in our institute when we are doing training, and the same applies to the research entities. So research will be open, or is open, by applying such principles for all those who are interested in a certain innovation or who are going to be attracted by a certain innovation collaboration. However, this may lead as well to always popping up new bubbles of innovation well, out of existing organizational structures. Still, I would confirm that organizational structures are existing, so it's not completely dissolving what we can observe in terms of social entities. However, it's getting more and more open, and it's leaving the principle of togetherness based on the pure physical co-location behind. Okay, so let's move on now to the next aspect. We have just recently developed or completed the development of a open training program for social entrepreneurs and future educators, together with a number of partners, mainly from Europe. This program does focus on the question of how participative practice of innovation may look like. And I have just selected some of the activities in the context of the Third Way project that you find online, the thirdway.eu, and there you find a list of 9 smaller modules dealing with aspects of setting up sustainable, socially sustainable business. The idea is that we like to equip the future entrepreneurs in especially social sectors with the respective business skills, including aspects of controlling organization development and managing the innovation. And this has been then put into 9 smaller modules that can be studied independently in the form of a massive open online course. So we've created such resources that you find on that website, and one doesn't have to register to use it. However, if this material, which has been developed by several higher education and vocational training institutes and vocational training centers, including business schools from the Netherlands and the UK, in a way that the individual user may even receive a certificate when completing such successfully. However, doesn't have to study the full program, but could select just one of the small side. So this is a quite functional activity, and I just can recommend that you have a look at it and use the one or the other material either in your training program or for independent study by the students or other practitioners who feel that they are doing good and they are, let's say, research and innovation driven activity, but are still somehow missing enough competence in order to implement the social activity as an economic endeavor in a longer run. And so this is just one example for a non-physical collaboration with an immaterial media-based product. So it's not only useful for training, but it can be seen as well as an evidence or an example for how such converted, I would say, digitally transformed innovation process may look like. Now let's come to the discussion. Perhaps I can conclude that there is consequences and several consequences for new pattern of information exchange education text. First of all, we need to talk about competencies which are needed in order to adopt new technologies. It's quite a lot about experiences, but it's more than that. It should go as well beyond and take into account some more systematic analytical approach. Then we as well have the momentum of the learning places in the industry-related context. So we're talking about where to learn, if this takes place at the workplace or in educational settings. And what can be suggested here is that it always needed to go beyond school and as well include industry as a learning place. Finally, we have a strong momentum of virtualization in any knowledge-related sector, meaning that the education experience becomes deformalized, which is a quite big challenge for education institutes, especially vocational higher education institutes. And I think we are not really ready to provide good answers for these challenges. And then I suggest as well that we are using the data for measuring the learning outcomes, and as well then for managing the innovation or education processes of such data produced during the processes. Finally, we could as well link our educational and innovation activities to the way how we configure our education processes. Now we are still quite a lot following the classic principle of a physical embeddedness of education, meaning we have a campus that is a separate instance, separated from the industry, separated from the city, separated from the infrastructure, and then we move to this place for learning. But what we are doing today is something fully different, and we find it useful, so we should consider this and see how the activity is fitting into the wider society in a good way. I would like to invite you to continue this discussion with me and other guys around, eventually even with the AI technologies that are just about to arrive in the innovation processes. So I give you attention, and we have some minutes left for a discussion now.
Okay, thank you very much. Please give applause to Professor Kohler here. Okay, the material are so fruitful and enlightening. Okay, now I invite the participants to ask questions. Yes, we have one participant with a question.
Thank you very much. Hello, Herr Kohler. Let me say something in Germany, maybe. Wie geht es Ihnen? Ich hoffe, Ihnen es geht gut. Ich hoffe, dass ich kann duzen. Okay. Okay, Herr Kohler. I want to ask in English. Maybe it's better for everyone. So, I think your concept of social entrepreneurship meets also the concept in Indonesia. But I know in Indonesia we are also introduced the concept such as helix. Maybe you already heard about the triple helix, the pentahelix, the collaboration between governments, industry, academia, and one again is the civil society. So, do you find also difficulty to collaborate within all these stakeholders in Europe? And the second question is, perhaps you also have experience when such program is going to difficulty reduce the effectiveness of this program, especially social entrepreneurships. I think it's ideal theme, but many investors thinking also about profits then also only socially impact. But the question maybe you have also from this experience, learning from this experience, some suggestions or insight or feedback how we in Indonesia should grow our social entrepreneurship concept. Thank you very much. Especially in the technology and media, because we are the vocational in creative media. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much for the German language and as well for your request. I would really follow that when you suggest that it's a challenge to bring together the different societal sectors and actors into an innovation process. We have just really completed some research about the intersection between rural areas and larger cities, and we could see that the ways of communication are still very much out. Or addressing such communication ways which do not fit the different groups in society, and so there is a paradox perhaps. So we have in communication cultures in the different institutes and the different stakeholders. However, those are not really interfering. And on the other hand, we have the social media-based communication cooperation cultures, which are shared by a larger portion of society, but those are not always accepted. And still there is some mismatch as well in between different groups of society. So one of the larger challenges is when following those helix structures, which are basically, I would say, appropriate, because suggesting that different actors in society, administration, industry, research, education, our social sector should be incorporated. That would not necessarily mean that there is already very much clarity about what kind of communication channel or what kind of communication pattern is suitable for bringing together those stakeholders. Here I think research is still needed on the one hand. On the other hand, the media industry may deliver a very fine approach and insight here, because media industry does already have technologies and skills for most which address a larger proportion of society, including patterns of marketing, social media communication, and beyond. And here, eventually, part of a solution, a futurist approach may be taken from. So thank you for your question.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much for the response. Regarding the time, I think I should end this session. So thank you. Give applause once again for Professor Kohler here. So ladies and gentlemen, I think this is the end of the invited speaker session. I would like to say thank you once again to our amazing speakers, Professor Brian, Professor Dina, Professor Polkowski, and Professor Kohler for the insightful talk. And I know, and also to the participants here, thank you for the participation and answers. And I think if you have further questions or discussions, you can reach them. I think they don't mind to do that. Once again, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'll pass it over to the Master of Ceremony.
Okay.
Bentar. Before we close our session, I would like to invite all of the speakers and participants to go forward in front of the stage to take photos for the documentation, please.
We kindly invite all of the participants to take the photograph together in front of the stage.
for all participants in Zoom. Please open your camera to take a picture together. Thank you.
Oke. Belum, nih masih this is the end of the Jam berapa? Oke. Ayo Mas Dimas. This is the end of the session. We'll meet again in this room during the breakout session. Please enter the breakout room as instructed in the abstract book at 1 p.m., 1:30 p.m. And to have a lunch, the lunch is served in the ground floor in the restaurant. So we'll meet again at 1:30 after the lunch for the breakout session. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your attention.